माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरनिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरनिता निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद ताय गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचर अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद श्री भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचर अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय नमाचार्य लरदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगामय यमुनामय की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all glories to us multi hare all glories to us multi hare All Loris, present Loris, Hare Krishna. All Loris, all Loris, all Loris, all Loris, Shri Guru and Gauranga, Prabhupada ki Jai. ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधनाम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारण निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पांचाच देस्तारण गोपाल की जय. Not this one. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायण नमस्कृतं च नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. नष्टाप्रयेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति नैष्टिकी. हरि ओम तत्सत्. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute, verse number 4. Bhumirapo analo vayo kam mano buddhir eva cha ahankara iti yamme vinna prakriti astada. भूमिरापो अनलो वायो कम बुद्धिर्मनो एव च कम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम्मे भिन्न प्रकृतिराष्टदा. भूमिरापो अनलो वायो कम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकार इति यम्मे भिन्न प्रकृतिराष्टदा. One word. Bhumi, earth, apa, water, amanala, fire, vayu, air, kam, ether, mana, mind, buddhi, intelligence, eva, certainly, cha, and ahankara, false ego, iti, thus, yam, all these, may, my, binna, separated, prakriti, energies, astada, eightfold. Translation by Jamil says, Sri Bhakti Vedanta, Prabhupada ki Jai. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight constitute my separated material energies. Let's repeat. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight constitute my separated material energies. What's number 5? अपरेयम् इतस्तु अन्याम् प्रकृतिम् विद्धि मे पराम् जीवभूतम् महाबाहो येदाम् धार्यते जगत्. अपरेयम् इतस्तु अन्याम् प्रकृतिम् विद्धि मे पराम् जीवभूतम् महाबाहो येदम् धारयते जगत्. अपरेयम् इतस्तु अन्याम् प्रकृतिम् विद्धि मे पराम् जीवभूतम् महाबाहो एदम् दायते जगत्. Word. Apara, inferior. Yam, this. Ita, beside this, too. But anyam, another. Prakritim, energy. Viddhi, just try to understand me, my. Param, superior. Jiva Bhutam, comprising the living entities, Mahabaho, O mighty armed one, Eya, by whom, Idam, this, Dharyate, is utilized or exploited, Jagat, the material world. Translation. Besides this, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Repeat. Besides these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material inferior nature. Verse number 6. एतद्योनिनि एतद्योनिनि भूतानि सर्वाणि इति उपधारय अहं कृष्णस्य जगतः प्रभवप्रलयस्तथा एतद्योनिनि भूतानि सर्वाणि इति उपधारय अहं कृष्णस्य जगतः प्रभवप्रलयस्तथा एतद्योनिनि भूतानि सर्वाणि इति उपधारय अहं कृष्णस्य जगतः प्रभवप्रलयस्तथा Etat, these two natures, Yonini, whose source of birth, Bhutani, everything created, Sarvani, all, iti, thus, Upadaraya, no, Aham, I, Krishnasya, all inclusive, Jagata, of the world, Prabhava, the source of manifestation, Pralaya, annihilation, Tata, as well as translation. All created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both origin and dissolution. I repeat, all created beings have their source in these two natures of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am the origin and dissolution. Verse number 7. मत्तः नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव मत्तः नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव मत्तः नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव मत्तः beyond me parataram superior Na, not anyat kinchit, anything else. Asti, there is. Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth. Mayi, in me. Sarvam, all that be. Idam, which we see. Protam, is strung. Sutre, on a thread. Manigana, falls. Iva, like. Translation. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread. Repeat, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Verse number 8. रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि सूर्ययो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं ऋषु रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि सूर्ययो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं ऋषु रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि सूर्ययो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दके पौरुषं ऋषु Rasa, taste, aham, I, apsu, in water, kunteya, O son of Kunti, Prabha, the light, Asmi, I am, Suryayo, of the moon and the sun, Pranava, the three letters, Om, Sarva, in all, Vedeshu, the Vedas, Sabda, sound, vibration, K, in the ether, Paurusham, ability, in Pusu, in men. Translation. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om is in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Verse number 9 till 12 we will read and we will try to understand. पुण्यगन्ध पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसो जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु पुण्यगन्ध पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसो जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु पुण्यगन्धा पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसो जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु punya original gandha fragrance prithvyam in the earth cha also teja heat cha also asmi I am vibhavasu in the fire jivanam life sarva in all Bhuteshu, living entity, tapa, penance, cha, also asmi, I am, tapasvishu, in the whole practice penance. Those who practice penance. Translation. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat and fire. I am the life of all that lives. I am the penance of all ascetics. Repeat. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire, and I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat and fire, and I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Verse number 10. बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम् Bijam, the seed, Mam, me, Sarva Bhutanam, of all living entities, Vidhi, try to understand, Partha, Osana Pratha, Sanatanam, original, eternal, Buddhi, intelligence, Buddhi Matam, of the intelligent, Asmi, I am, Teja, prowess, Tejas Vinam, of the powerful, Aham, I am. Translation. Osana Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Please repeat. O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existences, intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all powerful men. Verse number 11. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivajjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivajjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागाविवर्जितं धर्मा विरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभ. Balam, strength, balavatam, of the strong, cha, and aham, I am, kama, passion, raga, and attachment, vivarjitam, devoid of, dharma, viruddha, not against religious principle, bhuteshu, in all beings, kama, sex life, asmi, I am, bharatarshava, O Lord of the Bharatas. Translation. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of the Bharatas. Arjuna. Please repeat. I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principles, O Lord of Bharatas. Arjuna. Verse number 12. This is the last verse for today. ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्चये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न तु अहं तेषु ते मयि ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसा तामसाश्चये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न तु अहं तेषु ते मयि ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसा तामसाश्चये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न तु अहं तेषु ते मयि Mood, yea, all which cha and eva certainly, sattvika in goodness, bhava states of being, rajasa in the mood of passion, tamasa in the mood of ignorance, cha also, yea, all which, matta from me, eva certainly, iti thus, tam those, vidhi try to know, na not tu, but aham I, teshu in them, te they, mai in me. Translation. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature. For they, on the contrary, are within me. Please repeat. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. We'll try to understand. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjansalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaः. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamam Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhayeva Cha Pattanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. So we're discussing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. So, this chapter 7 is the part of the Bhakti, middle 6 chapters are part of the Bhakti Yoga, especially discussing how to develop attachment to Krishna, as in the 6th chapter. The first 6 chapters are predominantly talking about karma, last karma yoga, last 6 chapters talking about Gnana Yoga. So, and middle 6 chapters talking about Bhakti Yoga. In one sense, if you look at it is like a jewelry box. Jewelry box. The bottom portion is karma. The top lid is gnana. And then if you open inside the diamonds and everything is there inside the box, you have to open. That is bhakti. So the actual real thing is within inside. So between the karma your first 6 chapters and last 6 chapters, the middle 6 chapters is the key essence is there. The pure the topmost process, the highest, the most important part is being given included as bhakti yoga, and it goes from starting from chapter 7 karma mishra bhakti gradually, and then gradually gnana mishra bhakti, and then gradually leads on to the pure uttama bhakti or prema bhakti or unalloyed devotion service, uninterrupted, undeviated, unmotivated devotion service. In this way, this chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute, is being described starting from that beginning stage. So that's why Sri Krishna is speaking in this first verse. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Injan Madashre Asamsayam Samagram Yata Gnasa Tachrunu. So first he is speaking in order for you to develop attachment to Arjuna, all the living entities is speaking. Mai Asakta. So that Asakti has been described, we discussed in the previous class. First is the primary and secondary. There's the Asakti can be understood as a first primary rasas. There is Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. These are the direct or the primary rasas, primary attachment, and there is indirect, which is the secondary rasas. So primarily Krishna is speaking here. So the primary rasas, asakti. So, and another way to look at also we mentioned the deep attachment to Lord Krishna in the stages of bhakti, adav shraddha, tata sadhu sangha, tata bhajana kriya, anardha nivrittisya, tata nishtha, tata ruchi, tata asakti. So that asakti means complete attachment. So full attachment, full taste for the holy name. So nishtha, ruchi, and asakti. Asakti and bhava comes under the next stage. There are 3 stages. First one is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, practitioner, sadhaka practitioner, beginning stage, from developing faith towards Krishna and then following the process, and then gradually. That's why the first 6 chapters are talking about the Swarupa of the Jiva, constitutional position of a Jiva or the living entity or the human being, and is what he is supposed to do. That is mentioned. Then the Swarupa of the Supreme Lord, Iswara, is mentioned in this chapter 7 onwards, middle 6 chapters mainly talking about Swarupa of the Jiva, Swarupa of the Iswara, and how to attain that. So that's why this 7th chapter is mainly describing about the opulences of the Lord, or the powers of the Lord, and the sweetness of the Lord. But not everybody can understand and attain it, sweetness, unless one surrendered one who is a devotee. So Tasrunu, that's why if you want to understand and progress in bhakti, the first thing one must do is Tasrunu. So that's why the seventh chapter has multiple sections. As I mentioned, 1 to 3 is hear from me. So that is the first section, as I mentioned before. Then the fourth to 12th, today's for that I covered till 12. That is material and spiritual energies. Because why is he speaking about that? Because in the first verse he is talking about developing attachment. Then how will you develop attachment? That is one reason why Krishna is speaking about all the various energies, so that immediately, okay, if you see something, then you will immediately remember Lord Krishna. What those energies are, that will go in detail. So that's why Lord Krishna started speaking the next section after explaining briefly. You must develop attachment. If you want to understand me, if you want to attain perfection, so then you must develop attachment in these five primary rasas, or come from Vaidhi, gradually from Vaidhi sadhana bhakti to Raganoga bhakti, which is asakti and bhava, then prema bhakti, which is the Krishna prema, the highest stage. So in this way, this asakti is being explained. So the energies, why the energies are being described in the next section is 7 to 12, the 4 to 12 material and spiritual energies. One reason is so that you can develop attachment by understanding what these energies are, whether taste of the water or the stronger of the strongest. So everything you see the power of the Lord. But who is there behind the power? The sweetness of the Lord. Also, one must gradually understand. That is at the highest level. Vijnana. Jnana is the just the aspects of the powers, of the Almighty, in the strength or the source, so the of the Lord, but the actual real what is the sweetness of the Lord is beyond the on reverence, beyond knowing that He is the very powerful. But to we have to come to that sweetness of the Lord, that is Vijnan, or understanding this all the material world, spiritual world, everything. But who is the source behind it? Phenomenal world and the behind where everything is coming from. Understanding that is the Vijnan, Jnana and Vijnana. That's it. And another way why Krishna is speaking these material and spiritual energies, because Krishna is not alone. If God is supreme, then He is always with some others. He is always with His expansions. He is always with His energies. So just like when King comes, King always has his servants and associates and paraphernalia. So like that, Lord also comes with His various paraphernalia. So that's why material and spiritual energies. So He's explaining all those details so that we understand and how everything, all the various categories of the Supreme Lord, various divisions, and slowly, gradually, we can develop attachment by understanding all these things in great detail. So that's why Lord Krishna is speaking this in the seventh chapter. So Maya Sakta, the second section is material and spiritual energy, 4 to 12, today's section. And then the third section is 13 to 14. Krishna controls the modes, three modes of material nature. And then the 15 to 19 is talking about four types of people surrender, and four types of people doesn't surrender. Then the 20 to 25 section is demigod worship and impersonalism. That is and then the last section is 26 to 30 bewilderment and freedom by knowing Krishna. What will be the result? Because knowledge of absolute. So that's why how one who doesn't understand the this about the this transcendental knowledge, then what will happen? Bewilderment. And but if we know, then it will be freedom. So that is described in the last section, so that we understand the whole context of this seventh chapter. So that's when 7.16 we see that Chaturveda, four kinds of people worship, that is Karma Mishra Bhakti is talking. Different people may come to the Lord. So because there are different mishra, there is a mixture of passion, ignorance, there are mixture of enjoyment. Some desires are there. So it is not pure devotion. That is okay in the beginning stage. That's why karma mishra bhakti. Krishna is not jumping directly to the pure bhakti in this seventh chapter. Gradually, he will take us to that. level. Then 19th section we see Gnana Mishra Bhakti, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gnanavan, out of so many Jnanis. So in this way, and then the last section is last but one verse 7.29 is talking about Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Jara Marana Mokshaya, who is always meditating on the super soul. So in one sense, even in the first verse also is talking about it. Now let's go to the second section. Before that, first verse a little more. First, second, third, we'll understand a little more. And then, so we'll come to that. So the first verse, Krishna is speaking, Mai asakta mana parda, that mana, mind. So mind has certain characteristics. There is a mind. Mind has five categories. The divisions of mind. So people who are divided within the how they control the mind with what consciousness, especially on the basis of the what consciousness they have. Accordingly, the mind is divided into five categories, five divisions. It is described. The first one is called Shipta Mind. One who has Shipta mind. That means always anxiety, too much passion. So too much passion, overworking. So waking up late, anxiety, don't know what to do sometimes, too much madness. That is it is the example is the monkeys, monkey mind, Chipta is called monkey mind. This is the first characteristic of the type of people who have this kind of consciousness. So that's the mind must be also free from these unwanted thoughts. Consciousness of the mind must be cleared. Mind and intelligence, ego, false ego must be transformed into real ego. Mind must be purified. Intelligence must be purified. So that's why Krishna speaks about in this chapter, not absolute. So the first characteristic of the mind is the monkey mind. So which is passion, too much passion. Second one is mudha. The second, Kshipta. Second one is second one is I think the term is Muda. Yeah, Muda only. That is donkey mind. It's lazy, sleepy. So sadness. This is the characteristic of the document Muda. Yes, dull, lethargic. All these characteristics of the second category of the mind. The second category of people who have these characteristics. Third category is a vikshipta, is butterfly. Sometimes in the passion, sometimes in the ignorance, it is fluctuating. Sometimes the mode of goodness, this way there is a butterfly mind. So that is it is a fluctuating. It is not in one category, partially focused. Then you have the next level. So gradually you can change, see the curve, passion, ignorance. But the next level is the in the mixture of passion, goodness, ignorance, partially focused. And then the fourth category is ekagra. Now is coming to some focus is there, so is concentrating, but it sometimes is most of the time is concentrating, is able to concentrate, focus, but sometimes is moving from concentrated consciousness into sometimes his consciousness is breaking. He's thinking of other materialistic enjoyment or material desires again coming up. So that is called the ekagra. It's one point attention, but sometimes it is not fully. It is not 100%. It is not 24/7. Is not in that state of consciousness. That is ekagra. The next level is nirdosha. So that is the fifth category. Niruda. Niruda. So that is so ekagra is also called sampragnata samadhi. And this Niruda means Asamprajna Samadhi, completely, fully conscious of the Supreme Lord, fully conscious of the Jiva, is himself, his position, and his relationship between the Supreme Lord and acting on that relation. This is the Niruda stage. This is full Samadhi stage. So this is the Maya Sakta Mana Parda. The mind must be developed attachment. If you look at from the yoga platform, this mana mind is used, so the mind is divided in this way, in these categories. So, so that one must understand. So, Maya Sakta Manaparda Yogam Injan Madashraya. One must take shelter of surrender. Sishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapanna. So without surrender, you cannot understand his opulence or his sweetness. You cannot understand Krishna. So that's why the next verse is talking about that. Jnanam te aham vijnanam. So that jnana is powers and sweetness is vijnana. So as jnana concerns the swarupa of the Lord related to the spiritual and material energies, that's why he's explaining the next section. And then along with the sweetness. Only one who surrendered can understand, so that you can meditate on him. So, tat chakti vishaya vivikta swarupa vishayakya jnanam. Full knowledge about the constitutional position of the self, and the Ishvara and the relationship. So, all these are being understood. So, that's why the second verse is speaking. So, main thing is the God is in the center. So, and the understanding the relationship, the activities, the karma, and the time factor. You understand all the five subject matters in Bhagavad Gita. That is the Jnana and Vijnana, the second verse. The third verse is talking about how not everybody is going to come to this to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna or process of bhakti. Tubhyam prapannaya aseshatam samagrena upadeksham. Unless one is surrendered fully, it is very difficult to understand the controller or his energies, how he is controlling everything. So it's very difficult. So that's why there are various categories of people. First category of people is those who are acting on the platform of fruitive activities. They want desire to get some fruits for the work they are doing. So that is they are called karmis. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is explained. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining. There is a verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about धर्मचारी मध्ये बहुता कर्मनिष्ठ कोटि कर्मनिष्ठ मध्ये एक ज्ञानी श्रेष्ठ. Among the followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. So this is the first category. So among the followers, most are following the process of fruitive activity. So just good and bad, but they want to get results. So where they will go, they will go to the heavenly planets. So the next category is karmis. After karmis, jnanis. So because out of many may look for fruitive activity, but there may be one who doesn't want anything in return, but they may utilize it to open hospitals or help people. So that is a higher category. That then the jnanis. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further speaks about that. Koti jnani madhye haya eka jana mukta. Koti mukta madhye durlabha eka Krishna bhakta. Out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated, mukta. Out of many millions of such liberated person, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. So jnanis means they want to renounce things, they want to renounce this material world, and they want to merge into Brahman level. They want to renounce things and merge. So they want to give away things and renounce things and go merge into Brahman effulgence. They want to become Lord Narayan. So that is their conception. So that they are called jnanis, wise. So they don't want anything to this material, but still they are looking for benefit. They want to merge. They want to become the god. They want to become. They are merged into Brahman effulgence, but there is no variety. There is no service. Then they will fall down from there also. That out of many of those jnanis, wise men, then because they come down and open hospitals, they are not interested in getting something results for their income, but they want to open hospital, philanthropic work, or another saranalayam or different ways they want to help people. They may not want anything back, but they want to help people. So that is, these are the jnanis. So above karmis, they are jnanis. Then above jnanis, they are yogis. So they want to merge into the body of the Lord, Paramatma realization, meditating on the super soul. So out of many millions of such wise men, one may actually become liberated. It's very difficult to come to the even to merge into Brahmana evolution is also not so easy. The big after as Krishna is mentioning in chapter 12. So adhikataras tesham vyakta saktam. Meditating on the impersonal aspect is very, very difficult. Meditating on something which we can see itself is difficult. And imagine that meditating something which is not even there, which you can't even see, unmanifested form. So it's very, very difficult. So that's why the Patanjali is giving this different grades of mind, different categories of people with this consciousness of the mind, from all the way from Shipta to Muda to Vikshipta to Ekagra to Niruda stage. So that's it's not so easy, even as Jnanis. And then the yogis, then out of those, you may be liberated, but still, out of many such liberated persons, a pure devotee of the Lord Krishna is very difficult to find. So the bhakta. So that's why the Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kachit Yadasiddhaye Altam Siddhanam Kachin Mam Veti Tatvata. So it's very difficult to come to the path of bhakti. Krishna himself is stressing that so that we understand. You may think why, if bhakti is the topmost, why everybody is not coming to this process. So rest assured, understand that not everybody is going to take this process, come to this process so easily. Let me know. Yeah. So that is the third verse Krishna is speaking. Now today's section we are speaking about the 4 to 12, how the Lord's energies, various energies, how you will develop attachment. That's what Krishna is speaking. The fourth one Krishna is speaking is Bhumirapo Analo Vayu Kam Buddhir Mano Evacha Ahankara iti yame Binna Prakriti me Astada. There are 8 energies here. It is mentioned earth, water, air, fire, ether. So one must understand the energy and energetic. So the energy is all this energy, material and spiritual energy. And but who is the source? Where everything is coming from? Just like the electricity is coming, where? Powerhouse. So like that, the powerhouse is the source, and the electricity is coming. We are plugging into the different ports to get the heat or AC or the heat, air conditioning or heat. So that is nothing but the energy, and then the source of the energy is energetic, which is powerhouse. So the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna is explaining first aspect is earth, water, air, fire, ether. These 5 material elements or gross elements, they are there in each and every living entity. These 5 elements when the creation happened is coming from the Supreme Lord. Lord is glancing on these 5 material elements so that it can be activated. It is in the dull state in the beginning. It is not in its consciousness. It doesn't act on its own. So it will start acting. So earth, water, fire, air, ether, these 5 elements, it will start working when the Lord glances. So those are 5 elements are called material or inferior energies. Then there's the mind, intelligence, false ego. That is also called inferior energy. 8 energies. But Acharyas explained these 8 energies are transformed into 24 energies. 24 energies. 8 means earth, water, fire, air, ether. It has its sense object. It has its subtle objects also, just like the earth has smell. That's why later on Krishna is speaking. Rasoham Sukanteya, then Punyagandha Pradivyancha, the taste, the smell, the so the earth, water, fire, air, ether. So each of them has sound, touch, smell, taste. All these five these gross material elements has 5 subtle elements also, subtle sense objects. This 5 and 5, 10 there itself. And then you have karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. Under ego comes 11 aspects, which is the 5 karmendriyas, this hands and legs and genitals, and so all these coming under 5 karmendriya, even the tongue. So the karmendriyas, mouth, 5 karmendriyas, and then the jnanendriyas, knowledge acquiring senses, ears, the nose, ears, the nose, the tongue, then the skin, the touch, then the smell, your eyes. So in this way, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. These 5 knowledge acquiring, and five working senses, hands, legs, genitals. So these five and five, total 10. So, and then the ego. So this 11. And then the mind and intelligence, buddhi and ahanka, the mind, manas. So these three. So you have 10 plus 3, 13 plus that earlier earth, water, and sense subtle, 10, 23. And then the time factor, or avyakta, unmanifested stage is also considered one, 24. Time factor, 25. Sometimes this Supreme Lord is also considered. So 26, 24 to 26, in different places it is mentioned a little bit different, but there are all of them considered together. All these are considered Mahat Tattva, or Pradhan. So these are all coming under inferior energy of the Supreme Lord. Because so that you understand, oh, you see air. So the you sometimes you smell, good smell is coming, but who is the actually the source? How do you develop attachment? In the first place, knowledge of the absolute Krishna is being Maya Sakta Manaparda. Immediately as you smell, oh, nice rose smell is coming, or nice smell is coming, fragrance. So who is immediately we have to think of Krishna. Source is Krishna. Because if the earth doesn't have a smell, Punya Gandha Prudivyancha, Tejas Vinam Vibhavasu, where it is coming from? The source is Krishna. So that's why Krishna is speaking all these. Who is the actually source and how you can remember Krishna as soon as you taste. So that's why fourth verse Krishna is speaking about this material elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the mind, intelligence, and ego. So because these are the gross and subtle body, that is another way, another aspect. Why is he mentioning? If you want to develop attachment, how your gross body, subtle body is working, you need to know. We just discussed this morning class also. Gross body, during the daytime, what we are doing? Gross body is the one which is working. Field, the agriculture field where you do the activity, where you plow the field, you nurture the field, then you put the protein or whatever, the urea and whatnot. So then you sow a seed. Same way, the body is the field. Actually, we are not the body, we are the soul. But throughout the day, we are working. Gross body is the one we are working. We are thinking we are the gross body. We are trying to enjoy, get happiness through this gross body. The gross body is made of these five material elements and its subtle elements. Now the second aspect is subtle body. The throughout the night when we are sleeping, what we are thinking? Subtle body is the one is operating at the time when we are sleeping. But who is enjoying subtle body is the one who is trying to enjoy. Gross body is living. Gross body is not in picture at the time. So because we are sleeping, gross body is not, but subtle body is the one who is having dreams, various dreams. Watching nice movie, or gone somewhere, or met someone, or or sometimes suffering, sometimes happiness. Both are there. Killing, some tiger is coming and killing, or something, some accident, whatever. So many different things. Objects are there. Objects are there. Whatever we get dream, whatever we may see, the objects are there in the past lives or this life, but the situation is not exactly the same. The same instance scenario may have happened, may not have happened. May not be the really happened one. So because it is a coming together, we are hallucinating illusion. So the in dreaming state, this is the subtle body is trying to enjoy the sense objects. Even the person is they're not there. Sometimes boy and girl going together. So all these different thoughts come. So all these are in the subtle body. Subtle body is also trying to enjoy. So that's why when somebody trying give up this body, so what type of body then abruptly, without the nature's course, then you will get ghost body. So that time where what body he has, ghost body means subtle body. There is no gross body at all because he has abruptly given up, not following the rules of the engagement of this Prakriti material world. So then immediately you get ghost body. Then ghost body means subtle body. He tried to harass people who had whatever they have done when they had to give up the body, whoever yes. So for whatever reason, so then he may give some cause anxiety or fear to different people. So that is with subtle body is trying to enjoy or give suffering or get suffering. So both are there with subtle body. So in this way, But neither we are the gross body nor we are the subtle body. So we have to give away. So, but actually, who is the source? Who is giving this body? Later on, Krishna is speaking. Sarva yonishu kaunte sammavanti murtaya. Or aham bija pradapita. I am the seed giving father. Seed is also Krishna is speaking. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam vidhi partha sanadana. One of the verse in this section. Bijam means he is the seed giving father. He is the one who is sowing the seed. If spirit, if super soul is not there in the heart, then he will not be. So soul cannot live. That's why in the whole material world, whether it's demigod or human being, there are the four kinds of seeds are there. Bijamam Sarvabhutam, that verse is referring to the seed is Krishna is the one who's seed giving. What are the four kinds of categories of living entities out of 8.4 million species? First one is we are Andaja, Svedaja, Jarayuja, Udbija. So, Andaja means Andas, born from the eggs, that is birds and the other species, mostly birds we know. Andaja, Svedaja, when we are not clean, our bed is not clean, things are not clean, from our perspiration, Sveda, perspiration, insects, bugs, all these are Svedaja. They are born. Out of 8.4 million species, they are only these four categories. Either they have to be born through andas, eggs, either they have to be born through perspiration, Svedaja, Andaja, Svedaja, Udbija. This is the seed, like the trees, the plants, the creepers. All these are Udbija. You sow a seed, then it fructified, comes out. There is another point also about the seed. This is the Udbija, and then you have Jarayuja, embryo, that we came out. All these four, but who is the source? Who is the source? Because we cannot produce, no, not a single person till now produced a living entity. Matter cannot produce. You take any chemical, anything, you try to make one living entity, no, nobody is able to produce. Because of the living force is there, that's why. So that's why Krishna is speaking fifth verse. What you understood these gross elements and the mind intelligence falls the gross body and subtle body, gross and subtle, but both are inferior. They don't have its own power unless the soul is there, superior thing is there, and then above that super soul is there. That's why aparayam vitastvanya. This apara means inferior. Whatever I mentioned in the fourth verse is inferior. Jada means they are inferior. They don't have its consciousness. So that's a chetana. Chetana. Living entity has consciousness because spirit is there. So the aparayam itastvanya prakritim vidime param. Beyond this inferior energy, this gross body, subtle body is in work because of the soul is present. Even in the ghost also, the soul is there. Even if brain stop, anything in the body may stop functioning. But if the soul is there, that's until the soul doesn't go. If the heart is functioning, then living entity is still there. You may have coma or whatever you may name it. That means soul is still there. That's why consciousness is still there. Until that, the person is not called dead. Brain may stop functioning, hand may not function, legs may not function, all other lungs may not function, this may not function, that may not. But if the heart, mainly the soul, red corpus, the white corpus, but the soul just stop functioning, then that's when the soul left the gross body, subtle body, and moved on to another body, entered into another body. Soul is given gross body and subtle body. So that's why even the ghost also has soul and subtle body is there because he lost its right, his rights to receive gross body because he has committed committed an offense against the prakriti, against the rules or the power has given. He improperly used it, so that's why he had to receive ghost body. So that's why Krishna is speaking that beyond this inferior energy, superior energy is there. Aparayam prakritam vidyame param jiva, that is jiva. The living entity is superior. You are beyond this. So that's why don't be attached to this gross body. You are not this gross body. Whole day you are working and trying to enjoy with the gross body, but you are not that. That is temporary. Body you are trying to utilize. The same way when you are sleeping, dreaming, that also is not permanent. That subtle body is also not the permanent one. So you have to give this. This is inferior. Now you have to develop attachment to superior. That's why Krishna is stating that Arjuna is not asking in the beginning. There is no question, Arjuna, but Krishna himself is speaking. If you want to develop attachment to me, if you want to come to me, first you need to have some surrender. Then only you can understand. You'll understand this process of bhakti. And in that, you have to go beyond this inferior aspects of go beyond gross body and subtle body, understand how your mind is functioning, as I mentioned, from the monkey mind to donkey mind to butterfly mind to ekagra and niruda. We have to come to that consciousness, from passion to ignorance to goodness to beyond goodness, Visuddha Sattva, we have to come to. That's why Maya Asakta Mana. The mind must be controlled, sharpened, mind and intelligence must be sharpened, the transcendental knowledge. That's why we have to chant, that's why we have to do service, that's why we have to hear, that's why we have to read books. All this is to bring the mind, purify the subtle body, purify the gross body, and ultimately soul is being purified. Then we get a spiritual body. That is the idea. So that's why fourth, fifth Krishna is speaking. What is material, what is spiritual. But beyond these two, there is one more superior. That's why Krishna is speaking in Srimad Bhagavatam beginning verse. I know everything directly and indirectly. We don't know. Just like you have head, you have hairs. You know there is a hair. Our hair is growing. But how many hairs are there? We don't know. We can't count. So many hairs are there. Or if we eat, how it is converted into blood, how it is converted into energy, do we know how it is exactly working? To some extent we may know, scientists are gone through that process, but exactly how it is transformed into different energies, it is going into the veins and everything. So how much time it takes, so how exactly everything into the detail, minute, we don't know. Who knows? Lord Krishna knows everything, directly and indirectly. So directly means what you are taking in, you are unable to know. But indirectly, what's happening, how things are happening, we don't know. But Krishna knows. Janmadhyasya yata anvayat itaratascha addesha vignasva. Directly and indirectly. So that's the second verse. Everything is coming from me, all the source, all the relation, all the rasas, all the this material and spiritual, the inferior and superior, everything is coming from me. So that's when Lord Mahavishnu is lying down. Nesya Prabha Prabhavato Koti Jagadanta Koti Koti Asesha Vasudad Vibhuti Vinatad Nishkalam Anantam Asesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Vajami. How these all the universes are coming. Because the Lord has glanced on these material elements. Mind in the false ego and these five material elements, total 24 elements. Unmanifested. Lord glanced, then it became manifest. Just like the cloud. Cloud is always there. Clouds are there. So just like in the sky is there. Cloud is in one place, one portion. Like that, spiritual world is the rest of the place is spiritual world. Cloud is only the material world. So the cloud is appearing and disappearing. So the same way, material world is manifesting and then again it's winding down, unmanifesting. So the creation and dissolution. That's what Krishna is speaking in this section. After explaining this inferior and superior, then Krishna is speaking fifth and sixth, and this is aparayam vitastvanyam. Then bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi ardhas etad yonini bhutan sarvani to padaraya am Krishna se prava pralayatata. Whatever you understood now, etad yonini bhutan. I am the source. This is whatever I explained about these gross things, inferior things, and also you, the living entity, the jiva. You are separated part and parcels. Then Prabhupada quotes in many places, Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetananam Eko Bhunam Vedadati Kama. Nitya means he is single, eternal. Because some people may say, Lord is pervaded everywhere. He is impersonal. How can you say the Lord is a person? So, if he is expanded everywhere, because that is the theory, if you take a paper and you break it into pieces, then it's gone. Everything is finished. There is nothing there. But it is not like that. In East Upanishad, you will see that everything comes from 2 plus 2 is 2, 2 minus 2 is also 2 in spiritual world. In material world, that is 2 minus 2 is 0. But in spirit, it is not like that. Om Purnamada Purnamedam Purnat Purnamadachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. Everything remains still full. And that's why when you are offering Bhoga also, everything is there still. Only in Raghunath, what is it? Raghunath Thakur's case, a small child is offering with love and affection. That's why Lord, he was crying. And that's why the Lord has taken. Everything he has eaten. Nothing was there on the plate. That is a different case. We are not at that pure divorce. But otherwise, generally, he leaves everything. So this material world is coming from him. So that's why we have to understand. That's why Krishna is speaking that. That's why Krishna is emphasizing that I am the person, Baba. Just like the sun, you see sun rays. Sun rays is manifested everywhere. So, but the sun planet, sun god is there. The person is there behind the sun planet. There is sun planet. From there, sun rays everywhere pervaded. And behind sun planet is there sun god, Vivaswan. There is the same way with Indra, who's giving the rains. But Indra's name is Purandara. So like that, next after this Brahma is gone, next Brahma comes, so Bali Maharaj becomes Indra. So all these Shastra is giving the names of these different demigods. But these are all different Mishra Bhaktas, most of these demigods. Madhvacharya quotes a verse 90 million demigods, and then the different, yeah, Navakotyastu Devanam, Rushaya Sapta Kotaya, Narayana Sarva Kechit Tat Parayana. 90 million demigods, 70 million sages, devotees of Lord Narayana. But among them, only few are called Narayana Para. Many of them are called Narayana, devotees of Lord Narayan, but out of them, Narayana Paramim, they are pure devotees, the topmost devotees, because they are so deep attachment to Krishna, deep attachment to Lord Narayan, deep attachment to Lord Krishna. Not so easy, because we have to understand all this and go to with love and affection. One must serve. That means we have to know what is exactly is happening with our gross body, subtle body, what's happening with our mind, how the intelligence is operating, everything. These details must be understood. That's why this is very important to know this knowledge of the absolute chapter. So the sixth verse Krishna is speaking. I am the source. I am the creator. I am the maintainer. I am the annihilator also. I am creating all these material. The cloud is appearing and then disappearing. This material world is appearing, manifesting, and then unmanifesting. But that doesn't mean I am not there. No, I am there. That's why Krishna is speaking next seventh verse. Because impersonalists may, oh, see, Lord is impersonal. He doesn't have a form. No. Then Krishna is speaking seventh verse. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidastu dhananjaya. Matta, there is no beyond, superior beyond me. And then he's giving an example. Just like Sutre Manigaraiva, like a pearl strung on a thread. Pearls strung on a thread. So all these universes are, that's why I mentioned that Esya Prabha Prabhato. Mahavishnu is lying down, then all these universes are coming from him. So Lord is there. All the universes are resting. Otherwise, how things are floating? This all these mountains, all these universes are actually like a bubble. Each bubble, all these bubbles are floating. How these bubbles are floating? With whose energy? Because Lord's energy is invested, is there in each and every atom. Andantarastu paramana chayantarastum. That's why it is floating. Otherwise, how can you float anything? Yes, to some extent we know, like aeroplane is floating because you have created with them using the material resources given by Supreme Lord. You have created a mechanical instrument that many times it failed. It fell down in the ocean and whatnot. So many accidents. But with the spirit, with what Lord created, there is no problem. Just like even the demigods, the Siddhas, they can use their body and fly anywhere and anywhere. Like Narada Muni, he can appear anywhere, any planet, anytime you want. He doesn't need an aeroplane for that. But to some extent, understand how things. Aeroplane is floating with so many people, 700 or some 500, so many number of people, and floating. Airbus is floating in the air. Same way, so you can understand same way. If the teeny living entity has that much power to create aeroplane, then why can't the Lord is so supremely powerful can float this whole universe? It is possible. So you have to understand, use your logic and argument. Clearly Krishna is explaining how these sources, these elements, how everything is coming. That's why he's giving example, just like the thread you can't see. When you are putting a garland or the pearls, can you see the thread? No. So both understandings are the one. Krishna is saying, I am there, I am the actual source. If you are covered, if you want to sit in the room and you want to cover like cloud, sometimes sun is covered by cloud. That means sun is not there? No. Cloud, sun is not, cloud can never cover the sun. We are covered by the cloud, we cannot see sun. So that doesn't mean sun is not there. Same way, Lord is always there. Lord can never be covered by this inferior, even superior. Jiva cannot be on the God platform. Jiva cannot cover. Jiva, Isvara cannot be controlled by three modes. Isra cannot be conditioned at any time. Otherwise, he cannot be called God. So that's why he's giving the example. I am like this pearl strung on a thread, which thread you are not able to see. You are just seeing what is external. What you can see is what you are thinking. But there is beyond all this, that is me. That's why Krishna is giving all these one on one. Basically, he's telling, I am the person, I am the supreme person. I am not in person. I am the person. That's why he's giving that example. Pearls and the thread example. Who will wear pearls and thread? Person wears. If there is no person where you are going to put pearls and a thread, you can't put it. So that's why he's giving the example so that you can understand that there is a person behind it. Just like the sun, rays are everywhere pervade. That doesn't mean there is no person, there is a person. So like that, Krishna is giving with this example, Matta Parataram Nanya. Then Krishna is telling the seeds, as I explained. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam Vidhi Partha Sanatan. Then further Krishna is explaining so about the Omkara. So let me see, forget the verse number 8. 1 minute. Quickly try to cover on 8th verse. Yeah, Rasoham, I forget the verse. Rasoham Apsukonte Prabhasmi Sisi Suryo Pranava Sarva Veda Sabdake Paurusham. Taste of the water. So don't tell me that yes, salt water also Krishna will create, but the actual by the way you remember anything, because if you drink salt water, you will remember. No, you will not you will not be so much. You don't like it. You can't take much, but immediately as soon as taste, nice water, very tasty water. Sometimes water is also so many chemicals. It's not too so tasty. Then you cannot remember Krishna, but immediately, oh, very nice water. It's very happy, very satisfied. Then immediately you have to remember Krishna. That's why Krishna is mentioned. So on the taste of, I am the taste of water. Konte Prabhasmi Sesi Surya. Oh, you may see sun and moon, but where they are getting from energy. So that energy, sun and moon, the light is coming from Lord Krishna. Is explained. Na tad bhasayate suryo na sasanko na pavaka later on. So in spiritual world there is no the sun, moon is not there. Everything coming from the toenails of Supreme Lord Krishna. In another place also it is explained. The sun and moon are called eyes and eyelids of the Supreme Lord. So they are getting the power, they are getting this effulgence and power coming from the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is explaining, as soon as you see sun and moon, Surya Narayan, Chandra Narayan, so that Narayan, because they are the source, Lord Narayan is the source. So that's why they are called in that way. So that's why immediately you remember Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So that's why Krishna is giving various examples, his opulences. Pravas Mrs. and then Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Omkara. Out of all the Vedic knowledge, I am the Omkara. So, but then beyond the Omkara, so you may say impersonal, no, but the Omkara, the impersonal form of the Lord is mentioned as an Omkara, but the personal form of the Lord is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita and different Vedas. I mentioned before. I'll have to look it up. In the next class, we will mention that verse. There it is clearly explained how Hare Krishna Mahamantra already contains, even in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna is mentioning that all the results by executing devotion service, everything is obtained. You don't need to chant Om. Om is already included in this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare and Krishna and Rama. O internal energy of pleasure potency of the Lord, O Almighty Lord, O all attractive Lord, Krishna, O Almighty Lord, all powerful Lord, please engage me in your service. It's a personal connection, revealing it. All our love is being basically we are brought to the forefront. Our original consciousness is brought to the forefront. That's a Nitya Siddha Sadhya Kavanoi Sravanadi Suddha Chitta Kara Udai. So the awakening, our consciousness is being awakened by in this way constantly remembering the various sources. This Pranava Sarva Vede Sabdake Paurusham Rusu. So this sound, ether, Sabdake Paurusham Rusu. And the sound in ether, ability in man. So in this way we can understand how the Supreme Lord is the source of all these various aspects, and you can remember, as I explained also next verse, Punyagandha Prudivyancha. So the fragrance. Sometimes you see different flowers like roses, different roses have different smell. Here Oddly, so many of them doesn't have smell, but there are roses which has fragrance, nice fragrance. Different pinkish, whitish, yellowish, different colors are there. Like lot of fragrance. But red rose, dark red, doesn't have fragrance. But many other roses has fragrance. So that fragrance, as soon as you smell, it is so nice. Then that is where it is coming from. If earth doesn't have smell, where it is coming? It is all coming from earth. But different fruits, different has taste. Different fruits have different taste. Different flowers have different smells. Where it is coming from? That is coming from like the champaka flowers, and so fragrant. This jasmine flower, fragrant. All where it is coming from? All coming from earth only. That why red rose doesn't have smell, but why other has it? Because each living entity, that is also living entity. So depending on what pious creates, it's all based on that only. Pious and impious. It is there in each and every category of living entity, even in the trees. Some trees, no fruits, no nothing. It doesn't give anything. It stands for years and years. So that is because of the its lower mode. The trees which are born because of in too much in ignorance. Mm lower piety. So there are also categories within each category. The trees, the plants, creepers, animals. Within each category, there is a goodness, passion. Three gradations are also there. Accordingly, they take different type of. So the fragrance also same way. So that fragrance is coming from. I am the that fragrance. I am the one source. Immediately you remember me. That's what Krishna is telling here. Tejasvina Vibhas, the fire and the heat. This fire is not just only the fire and heat and light is coming from Krishna. He is the all the energy source of all the energies. But beyond that is also there is a fire in the even in the living entity, human being body. So in our bodies, how digestion is happening. There are four kinds of fire. There is a verse in later on Bhagavad already in the first six chapters it is there already, I think, in Bhagavad third or fifth chapter, I forget. Aham Vaiswanaro Bhotva Pranam Dehamasa Pranapan Samayuktam Pacham Chaturvidam. There are four kinds of fire which is there. Pacham Chaturvidam. Aham Vaiswanaro Bhotva Pranam Dehamasa Pranapan Samayuktam Pacham Chaturvidam. So that fire also, who is the source? Krishna is the one because of that digestion is happening. So that's what Krishna is telling here. Tejas Vinam Vibhavasu. I'm the heat in the fire, fragrance of the earth. I'm the life of all that lives. Whatever you see everywhere, something is living. Whether it can be stone, sometimes conscious, unconscious. Uh, Chara and Achara, moving and non-moving, both Krishna is source. Who's giving the life? Krishna is giving life. That's what Krishna is. And the penance of all ascetics. Somebody is a lot of penances. So that is also me. So in this way, Krishna is explaining. We're almost done. So Bijam I explained already. And the original seed of all existences. Intelligence of the intelligent. If you see anybody who is powerful, supremely powerful, or very smart, that we have to remember. Krishna is the one who's giving everything. Then same thing, stronger of the strongest. So where Krishna, that strength is also coming from Lord Krishna. And then, but that strength is nothing but when you have to remember when that strength is being used not for desire to enjoy separately from the Lord, but to protect the weak. So then it is you have to remember that's why Krishna is giving the positive aspects of it, not the negative aspect. You will not remember. So because otherwise you will not be properly conscious. You will not come to the proper consciousness. We have to come to Visuddha Sattva. So that's why Krishna is giving how to remember Krishna. So good things. Balam balavatam jaham kama raga vivarjitam. Beyond the passion and desire, attachment. And then the same way in the sex life also. Procreation is good. Otherwise, how this material world is created, living entity, procreation is happening, but it has to be based on the to procreate, not to enjoy, not just for our happiness. So that is as per the religious principles. Then you can procreate. So that is me. So then the last verse. In this way, Krishna is telling, know that all states of being, echaiva satvika bhava, rajasa, tamasa, matta eve tan vidnatu aham all these sources are, I am the source, everything. But I am not affected by these. The goodness, passion, and ignorance, as we went through different flowers, trees, different species of different seeds. That seed is also yeah, there is another understanding, but anyway, we'll discuss next week. But here, the last verse, Krishna is mentioning, know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I'm in one sense everything, but I'm independent. I'm not under the modes of material, for they are on the contrary or within me. So they're all within. So because all the living entities are his parts. So all the these chara and achara, even all these various species, everything is coming from Krishna, but he's not conditioned by that. So in that way, we have to understand. So everything coming from him, that doesn't mean he is being also being conditioned. When he comes to this material world, when he appears, he doesn't become conditioned. Then he cannot be called God. If somebody says God and he is suffering, he has a toothache and he has ear pain, then how can he be God? You must know everything and anything. So by his desire, things has to happen. So that is what God means. That's why you see the Supreme Lord, by his desire, things are happening. So everything is manifested and manifested. So by his desire, he doesn't need to work. All is different. Demigods are taking care of different duties, different expansion. This Karana, different three Mahavishnus, three Vishnus are taking care of the this material aspects of creation indirectly. Directly, Lord Brahma is the secondary creator, Lord Shiva is the destroyer, annihilator. So, but in one sense, Lord Krishna is not directly involved at all, simply enjoying his amorous pastimes. So that's why Krishna, I'm aloof from it. I'm not under the modes of this material nature. So even though I'm the source, everything, all this, everything is coming from. It is perverted reflection. Basically, that's what this material world is. Just like the this government. Government may have jail. Does that mean that government is also conditioned by this prison house? No, government, because there are people who are not going to follow the rules. For them, prison house is created. Same way, material world, that is just one department. So for reformation, same way this material world is choice is being given. Okay, you can try to enjoy, but when you realize, you come back. Spiritual world is three-fourths, one-fourth is prison house. This prison house is only small portion in any state or city. Same way this material world is also one-fourth only. The actual real thing is in three-fourths in the spiritual world. So that's why we have to realize it, understand. Only when we understand all this knowledge and then act accordingly, then slowly and gradually, when the gnana is received, then gradually when we practice, then slowly we come to Vignan. We understand the sweetness of the Lord, we understand the everything behind, how things are working, what exactly is happening. So the bija, the seed, I think, but there is a four categories. One, it is in the root stage, seedling stage, anything, and then there is a about to fructify, bijam, kutam, Falonmukam and Prarabdham. What what we are enjoying or suffering, that is already Falonmukam result. But before that, we are already suffering the or enjoying. That is result is already being given for our karma. That is Prarabdha karma. So what we have done in the past. Aprarabdham, Kotam, Bijam, Kotam, Falonmukam, Prarabdham. What we are enjoying or suffering is Prarabdha karma, and then before that is about to fructify, that is Falonmukam. Result is about to given in a matter of days or few hours. Sometimes you immediately see the result for some actions. That means Falonmukam, and then immediately you see the Prarabdha karma result also. But sometimes it takes days and months, like Dhritarashtra had to wait 100 lifetimes for him to receive the all 100 sons to be killed because of his action 100 lifetimes ago. That is, it was in a because Bijam state. In the original, it is in the seed form. It hasn't manifested because you don't have enough pious credit for you to even reap those the benefits of suffering or enjoyment. So it takes time. So that's why it's in there's a seedling stage, and there is a little more as a desire stage still, and then there's a about to fructify manifest. Just like you before you buy, you plan first, then you think about it, then you go on different places, you see, and then you'll act on it, thinking, feeling, willing. So same way, there's a seedling stage, bijam, putam, thinking about desiring it, and then follow on mukam. That is about to fructify just in a matter of days or minutes or seconds. and then already you are enjoying that is prarabdha. So these four categories of the seed. This sin or yeah, the pious or impious, both are same way. The enjoyment or suffering still in the material world. You have to come, whether demigod or ant or tree or plant, doesn't matter. We take any form of the species of life, we are still going through these four categories of this karma going on from bijam, putam, phulam, mukam, and prarabdham. We are enjoying or suffering either any type of species. So it is all because the actual we have to understand our real position and gradually perfect our lives, go beyond the gross body, subtle body, and enjoy on the platform of the soul, and then revive our relationship and soul and to super soul, that relationship. Then in spiritual world, we can enjoy the real bliss, real ras anandamaya vyasa. So that's why Krishna is speaking all this, how everything is working, what we are seeing first before giving the highest bhakti, pure bhakti. Krishna is speaking first level of understanding. So with that, we'll stop here. Already 23.